the environment showed me, first of all, this is what works. Nobody went to the ground. Nobody. Because if you went to the ground, somebody would jump on your head. That's it.
Or glass you or whatever.
Or glass, yeah. You know, I've probably told you before, but 4 of my friends were murdered during my time as a bouncer. You did not go to the floor. It was there. It was part of your system. It was a backup. But you didn't go to the floor and you didn't wait to be attacked. So you learned to control the situation. And as I got deeper and deeper into it, the egregore says, well, how much do you want to know? This is what works physically, but this is just lesson 1. And nobody really knows this. You know, nobody's really teaching this. People are, either they don't see it or they're afraid to teach it. So I started teaching it and it spread around the world. That's why Chuck Norris got me over to teach for him, because he wanted to understand my concept of preemption, posturing, fear. So,
what did he think of your system?
Well, he invited me over twice. Well, he's invited me over 3 times, so that's what he thought of my system. But he was a very lovely guy. So the egregore says this is lesson 1. People don't know this, which makes you a magician. So I've got a little bit more knowledge than somebody else, which meant I could take most people out in most situations. Didn't have to be a great fighter. I just needed to understand it using I would use a little bit of deception, maybe ask a question, engage the brain, throw a punch, and I would get a knockout most times. That's because I understood more. As I started to understand more and more, the egregore said, what do you want to know more? And I go, well, I really want to understand this. So I started teaching it, and as I started to teach it, I understood more again. I understood that this is the power, this is what was inspiring, this is what really inspired me, was that every person that queued up to fight me was a projection from me. In reality, and this is the highest level of spiritual practice, I could have done nothing and it would have disappeared. I'd got these fears in me. They sat in me like parasites. They projected through the filters of my consciousness, and I literally saw them and the infrastructure queuing up to fight me. I was in hundreds of fights, not because I looked for fights, but because I was a shit magnet, because I believed it. And
you said your wife at one point, you said, this city is so violent. And she said, no, Geoff, wherever you go.
Yeah, I said, yeah, everywhere I go in this city, there's a fight. I go to funerals, I go to weddings, I go to christenings. I'd knocked somebody out at a christening and people bought me a drink and patted my back. And it was like, she said, it's everywhere you go. And that was a very powerful thing she taught me. So the egregore was saying, all of this is in you. You can fix this at the level of the projector. I mean, I was out in the world trying to fix stuff, but once I realised that, because at that point, I had weapons in every room of my house. I had weapons in my car. I had a baseball bat in my car all the time. And I got pulled by the police once, and the police said, what's that baseball bat for? And my friend said, you should have said it's for cheeky coppers, but which I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. But it's everywhere I went, there was a weapon. And that's because that was what I believed, and that's what I projected. And everywhere I went, I created violence, and I created the infrastructure of violence. Pubs, nightclubs, bars. Powerful. That's perception. Once I understood that, and I absolutely found a certainty with it, I thought, well, I need to see whether this is true. So I stopped teaching violence. I stopped talking violence. I stopped writing about violence. I stopped immersing myself into it. I stopped working on the nightclubs, and I started to fill my house with books, Bibles, you know, all sorts of iconography from, you know, from the esoteric spiritual stuff. And miraculously, all of the violent stuff in my life contracted. The nightclubs closed down. There was no violent people around me. Some of the clubs just aren't there anymore. They're just gone. You know, the houses, you know, they've been knocked down and, you know, made into something else. One was made into a hairdresser, which is absolutely no help for me at all. Last time I went into a hairdresser's, they charged me a search fee. So it's, I had created this through perception, and I dissolved it through perception. So when you look at my life now, I live in a Grade 2 listed barn in a field on an old farmyard, you know, very close to where Shakespeare was born. And I'm expecting my writing to improve anytime soon. So that's not a change of location, Brian. That's a change of perception.
Right.
So the egregore was saying, you're creating all of this. It's what you focus on. This is one of the messages of Jesus, the Christed Jesus. You're focusing on this, and because you're focusing on it and you believe it, you're creating it.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy.
The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.